I don't know. You can't just learn jazz on the piano. You have to start with something else. Jazz is not the first thing to be learning, because jazz is taking other music. Well, this is how jazz kind of started off, taking other music and jazzing it up. So unless you can play the other music, how are you going to jazz it up? I just really recommend learning like to read music and learning to read simple classical pieces like, say, Suzuki Book 1, 2, and 3. I think you should probably master those songs. That's just a standard classical repertoire, basically, little Clementi sonatinas and things. But I think you need to master that repertoire before you start jazzing it up. And another thing that you really should do, and kids just do this naturally, and you need to be able to pick out a melody at the piano, all right? You need to hear a melody, like just turn on the radio. Get on the radio here. I mean, it's not the greatest song that just happened to come on the radio there. Foxy Lady. Foxy. I had to turn that off before I hang myself live on camera here. Yeah, I mean, why do melodies just go like this now? That's a typical melody. So, find some songs with melody and pick them out. Here's the problem with living here in 2019 is that all the work's been done for you. You want a melody? Just go to the internet, print it out, find a YouTube video. But if you don't do it yourself, you'll never gain the skill of how to improvise, because improvising is hearing a melody in your head and trying to play it. And sometimes it comes out and sometimes it doesn't. Knowing all kinds of fancy scales and bebop licks and stuff like that isn't going to help. What did I tell you about melodies? They all do the same thing now. All right, so find that first. You got to be able to remember the melody, sing the melody in your head. Find the starting note. Okay, so I have perfect pitch. So what? No, because I just played the piano. I don't have perfect pitch. Nope. Nope. All right, now I could have gotten it right the first time, but I'm just showing you. You have to hunt and pick around until it sounds like what you're hearing in your head. You gotta pick out melodies and find good melodic songs. Beatles songs are great. And once you can pick out the melody, then you want to try to pick out some chords too. There's my advice. Don't learn jazz until you can play. Then take whatever you're playing and jazz it up. If you could play the Happy Farmer, now you can jazz it up. I apologize for that. Well, I hope I don't lose too many subscribers and being a Debbie Downer here. But, jazz is great. But, don't be frustrated trying to play jazz. Learning to play jazz should be fun and actually kind of easy, because you can already play. You can already play some stuff. All right, so let's do some jazz, all right? How about Take the A Train? All right, I got hit with copyright on this one, so I'm going to chop it up into so many tiny little pieces that they can't get me. So here's a C major chord, and the next chord of the song is D7. So they're just using the C to the D7 there. right, without the root. And the melody is a whole tone scale. Like that. And then we get into Take the A Train. And I left the 5 out because, I've got this note in there, so close to the 5. Usually on dominant chords, you like to leave the 5s out so you can add these other weird notes. That's the flat 5. And really, early jazz musicians, I think the flat 5 was the thing. The flat 5 maybe in the flat 9. They didn't think in terms of all these exotic scales like we think of today. The diminished scale, Locrian sharp 2, altered scale. They didn't think of any of those scales. They knew the major scale, they knew the minor scale, and they knew about passing tones, Now we call it the bebop scale. But, you could put a passing tone anywhere. So that's A Train. Okay, now the bridge, we got to get to the 4 chord. How do you get to the 4 chord? Oh yeah, hurry. All right, so all that's on the F major there. And then it goes to the D7 again. Is that right? Yeah. All right, so that melody there is just basically on the same notes as the chord. And then got like this diminished chord here. Is it really a diminished chord? Or is it a G7? Yeah, it's up to you. All right, so there's a jazz tune. How could you jazz it up? All right, and the classic line of the song. And sometimes it's done this way.